So the way we usually begin here is we do a little bit of guided practice, right? So a little bit of actually getting a practical sense of what inquiry actually means. So in order to explore our inner world, to really get in touch with it and discover it, the first thing we do is to enter it, right? To actually get in touch, to go within. So for this first part of the session, if you like, you can have your eyes closed. Find a comfortable position for sitting and take a moment to just feel into yourself, whatever that means to you, right? You're getting in touch with you. Inquiry really is about your consciousness, what's going on in your psyche, in your experience, in you. So you want to be taking some time to, feel into yourself. So one way we often begin the practice, or we support our inquiry, is by getting in touch with the sensations of our body. Right? This is something that's really here and present right now. And this is really like entering the inner ocean, right? It's like if your inner world is like a whole ocean, then what we're going to do now is a little bit like lowering ourselves down into the water, entering the ocean. So begin paying attention to the sensations of your feet. And if you just sense into both your feet and notice whatever sensations are there. There's no right or wrong. There's nothing you should or shouldn't find. You're just letting yourself sense in to your feet, to your ankles. You may be sensing physical things, your clothing or your shoe, pressure against the ground. And keep sensing up your lower leg, your calf, your shin. Maybe you can sense temperature. Maybe there's an ache or a pain or a tiredness. Just sense whatever you're in touch with. And then sensing into your knees. Sensing both knees. Like, how are those feeling now? If you're not making assumptions about your knees, but you're actually feeling them directly in this moment. Entering into the immediacy of the experience. And then your upper legs, your thighs, inner thigh, outer thigh, perhaps where the bottom of your thigh is in contact with the chair. You may notice parts that you almost don't sense anything. You might feel like some part is just not there. And in that case, just feel that, right? That's a sensation too. So you're sensing your thighs and sensing your hips and your bum on the chair. The weight of your body coming down, resting on your pelvis. And sensing the whole of your legs. Being in touch with the immediate experience, whatever it is for you. And now take a moment and shift your attention to your hands and begin sensing those millions of little nerve endings on your fingertips. Like, what do you sense there? It's almost as if your hands are filling up with this very alive consciousness itself. Right? The hand is full of sensation. Whatever that sensation is, that's what you're in touch with. Your hand, your wrist, and sensing up your forearm. Taking the time to slow down, to be in touch, to really get in touch with the immediacy of your body. You might notice sensations that are more subtle, right? Maybe energy or a sense of flow, tingling of some kind, or maybe even some kind of immediate presence. Sensing your elbows, up your upper arm. So the more you pay attention to your body, the more you might begin to notice there actually. Coming to your shoulders. How are your shoulders today, in this moment? They might be relaxed and open and easy, or contracted and tight, or whatever you feel. And then sensing your whole arms, your hands to your shoulders. What's it like? How is that? To really be in touch with your arms. How is it affecting you to take the time to get in touch like this? And then sense both arms and both legs. Both arms, both legs, and bring in the whole of your physicality, whole of your body. All of these immediate sensations. Notice your breath. So now you're really contacting the sensate part of your experience, right? Sensing into what we often just think of as our body, but is really the sensation of our experience. Right? It might be energy, flow. You might notice these more qualitative things like, does some part feel solid? Or does it feel fluid? Does it feel dense or empty, insubstantial? So there are all these kind of nuances that you could begin to notice the more you get in touch. And take a moment now to add listening. Bring in your awareness of the sound around you. My voice, the sounds in your environment, perhaps the sounds of your breathing. So you're really consciously in touch with listening. See what that's like, how that affects you. Sensing, listening. And then finally, let your eyes begin to open and include looking. So you're consciously looking, including your visual awareness of your environment, right? Of where you are. This is where you actually are right now. This is what's here. These little faces on the screen, right? This room, the space, the light, the objects. And then sensing, looking, and listening. And once again, just notice how that affects you. Just to take the time to be sensing, looking, and listening. Bringing in this dimension, this layer of your experience. So sensing, looking, and listening is a preparatory practice. It sort of invites us to ground, to be present in the immediacy of our experience. Because with our inquiry, we're not just thinking about our experience. We're not thinking about it from a distance. What we want to do is to really enter into it, to be in touch in a very palpable, immediate way. And sensing, looking, and listening is a bridge towards that. And so now the topic I want to just touch on briefly this evening is kind of what happens now. What happens next? And that really is, how do you begin an inquiry? How do you actually begin to inquire? And really, the beginning of an inquiry, there is a whole chapter in the book about it. We can see it beginning with a process that we could call checking in. Right? And checking in really means beginning to find where you are. Right? So I want you to see, like, if I ask you that question, you sort of pose that to yourself, well, where are you? What's up for you? What's going on with you? Right? That's what your inquiry is to get interested in, to find out about. And so the first step of that is to actually begin to identify, well, where am I? Right? So as you begin to if I sort of feel that question in a very broad way, where are you? What's up for you? Right? What's happening with you? Maybe pop a word or something in the chat about what that brings for you. Like, where does your consciousness go with that in response to that question? If you want, you don't have to, but you might. I'm curious to see the range of different things that people might come up with. Right? So feel free, just write a word. Uncertain. That's very important, that uncertain. I'm going to come back to that. Tired, tightness in chest. Yeah, curious. Not knowing, don't know. Warmth, ready, curious. Indignant about work. Interesting point. Right? We're going to talk about that. Confused, sad, depressed, relaxed, back straight. With the potential of this. Yeah. Right. So what you might notice, just from the variety of responses there, is that as you begin to actually check in, you might find a whole bunch of things, right? So you might find there are circumstances in your life that are on your mind, right? Somebody said a situation from work, right? That's really there for you, right? And that is, so our checking in is almost like lowering ourselves down into this water, into the inner ocean, and looking around to just see what's here, what's around. Are we floating over a coral reef? Is there a big shark just over there? You know, are we just in empty water? Where are we? That's the question that we're beginning to ask. So one of the things, saying that you might find is something from your life, a situation, right? There's the situation that's on your mind, right? That's what's up for you. And it's important to recognize that as a possibility, because some people I remember when they check in, when they begin to see where they are, they think they can only focus on what's exactly here right now. Is it a sensation in my body or a feeling or a thought or something that's here right now, right? And it's true that our checking in does want to be focused on what's here right now. Where am I now? What's going on now? But what's going on now could be a situation from your life or from yesterday or from some other time that is very alive in your consciousness now. And that's what makes it relevant. Okay, so that's part of the checking in, is to allow for that possibility, right? Circumstances is one thing. As we then begin diving, they're almost like the things above the ocean that are influencing us, right? And so now, as we begin diving in, we might begin to notice the specific things that are happening about that. So if there is a situation up, probably it's on your mind, right? So you might have thoughts about it. So one of the things you might find going on when you check in is ideas, thoughts. Your mind might be busy thinking about something, occupied about something, right? That's something you might encounter, right? Judging things, having judgments, that could be going on. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is that there might be feelings. So a lot of people mention feelings, sad or depressed or anxious or curious or excited or, in love. These are all feelings, right? So your feeling dimension might be part of what you notice. And another part of what you notice then is the actual sensations, right? The felt sense or the sense of your experience. So it could be something in your body, your posture, your uprightness, a pain, a sense of emptiness or fullness, or something like that. So the mind, the ideas and the thoughts, and the heart, the feelings and the affects and the emotions, and the sensations, the bodily sensations and the more subtle sensations of our consciousness, like sensing the stillness in the space around you, right? You might actually sense, oh, it feels like it's very still and quiet around me. The point is that as you get in touch with yourself, with your experience in this moment, this is what you begin to notice, right? This is what you begin to find. So checking in is the process of taking the time to actually notice what's around, to begin to articulate it, to actually say it or speak it, right? So it's not just like meditation where we notice something and let it go. No, we actually want to mention it. We want to say something about it. What is it? We want to see it clearly or begin to see it clearly. A key possibility that someone mentioned toward the beginning that's really important is you might feel you don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's up with me. Where am I? So to then give the space to that not knowing, to let yourself not know, and to be curious to find out. Right? That's a very important part of inquiry. So the not knowing, the space to not know. And the other thing that you might notice sometimes is that there's nothing, right? So you're checking in like, where am I? What's here? Not much. And then you can be curious about that. Like, oh, what is that not much like? Let me feel that not much, right? And you can look at it from those different centers, like, well, is it not much in my mind? My mind is quiet. Not much feeling. Oh, there's no feeling or a very quiet feeling. Or not much sensation. No sensation. What's that like? Like a kind of sense of emptiness. So the beautiful thing with checking in, the fundamental thing, is that it's always just about what's actually there. You never have to make anything up. You never have to go looking for something that's not there. It is literally just beginning to find where you are, right? What's really here, right? And to have the time and the space to do it in an easy, relaxed way. I didn't mention it so far, but really the whole orientation wants to bring the attitude that we explored a couple of sessions back of friendly interest. You're just being friendly and curious and interested with yourself. Like if you are sitting down with your best buddy and you say, hey, how's it going? What's up? Where are you? Don't have to make it up. You don't have to put forward something more or less. You can just be as you are, totally honest, straightforward, and start from there. So I've given you a little spiel about it. And we want to do something that we haven't done here so far, which is to give you a direct chance to practice it. And the way that we'll do that is we will put you into a breakout room with one other person. So there'll just be two people, right? And you'll each have 5 minutes in which to check in. You'll just take 5 minutes to just see where you are. And I'll say something about how to do that. The key thing is, because, doing exercises is not necessarily part of this forum, if you don't want to go into a breakout room, if you don't want to do the exercise with someone else, that's fine. Then what you'll do, and you can do that now, is just go to the reactions and raise your hand. You'll come to the top of the list, and then Susan, haven't introduced Susan. Say hi, Susan.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hey, Susan won't put you into a breakout room if you don't want to go and do an exercise. So raise your hand with the reactions, your electronic hand, so we know. But otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a breakout room with another person. And each person will have 5 minutes, right? And in that 5 minutes, you take your 5 minutes, you'll time it yourself, and you just get to check in. You get to ask, where am I? What's going on with me, right? And just see what comes up. I've mentioned these different possibilities of your mind, your thoughts, your heart, your feelings, your sensations, and your body, and your life circumstances, things going on in your life. And so you take them time to just see what that is for you in the moment, right? To take 5 minutes and find out what's up for you. If you find that you get to the end of we're describing what's up for you, right? And it hasn't taken 5 minutes, maybe it only took a minute, right? Then you can take a pause, and then you can go, okay, so where am I now? Oh, okay, yeah, that's what was up, but now it's a different moment. Maybe things have shifted, right? So that's one possibility, that you can check in, describe what's up for you, feel into your feelings, your sensations, your thoughts, notice what's around. And if you use up, you kind of get to the end of doing that and there's still time left, then you can take a pause and check again. Like, because maybe the very act of recognizing something about it has probably shifted something in some way. The inner world never really stays the same. It's continually changing. So even if you just notice, oh, I'm feeling a bit sad today, right? Okay, so how is it now? Oh, it seems like it got a little deeper, or I'm more in touch with it right now than I was a minute ago, right? Or, oh, I actually see something about it. It's related to something that happened earlier. So you just have that possibility. You check in, you see where you are. If you run out of time, you just do it again. So each person has 5 minutes. The person who's witnessing, who's not doing the check-in, is a completely silent witness. They just sit there, they say nothing, right? You have this wonderful opportunity of witnessing another human being discovering where they are. And you want to just sit there and sense your arms and legs, be present, and let them go wherever they go. You just give them the total space to discover their inner ocean, whatever's going on. You don't have to do anything. You don't respond. You don't do anything like that. So Ulla asks, who will keep time? And actually, I think we'll keep time. So we'll send a message through the chat at the end of 5 minutes, and then we'll send another message at the end of 10 minutes. And then you'll take 5 minutes and just talk together about how that was. Right? Just have a little conversation. What was it like to do that? What do you notice about it? Was it uncomfortable? And really, again, allow whatever you find. Like if it was really uncomfortable for you, that might be what you say. You're like, oh, I'm sitting here. I don't know what to do. It feels really uncomfortable. Okay, well, okay. So give that space too. So you really have the space to be wherever you are. Okay, Susan, Any questions? Let's see, any questions at this moment? No questions. Good. So go and enjoy. And we will see you back here in 15 minutes. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. Welcome back from your little check-in exercise. And so now we have some space for questions, for comments, for sharing. And I particularly want to invite the kind of questions, I want to invite any question, to be clear. So anything that you had a question about could be about the content, but I do particularly want to make space for questions about like the actual process or what you do. Like if you had questions about, well, what do I do? Or, you know, was something not clear about what does it actually mean to check in? Because it's often only as you begin engaging in it that you begin to recognize like, oh, hell, I don't actually know what to do here. And so I'd be very interested in those questions, as well as any other question that you have. And there was one question that somebody raised while you were doing your exercise, and I'm going to just bring that question to start with. At some point, I said something about consciousness, right? So like getting in touch with like, what did I mean by that? Right? So that's a very good question. And I want to say I meant it in the broadest possible way of just the totality of your experience, right? Everything that you're experiencing, these thoughts, feelings, sensations, your perceptions, your everything, the whole lot, right? It's all your experience. It's all arising in your consciousness, right? It's what you're conscious of. So both the details or the things that are arising in your consciousness, and at some point you might become conscious of the consciousness itself, right? As in some way, as awareness or as presence or as consciousness. We don't have to get too sort of hit up on this, right? It's really just in a very general way, getting in touch with your experience, right? With the immediacy of your experience. And it's simply by being in touch with that, and as we will see more, exploring it, that we begin to discover all these other things. So I hope that answers that question. Yeah, so if you have a question, raise your hand. I'd really love to hear, how was it for you to do that? Maybe you just want to share something.